Hi guys, welcome to another monthly favorites. Uh, this video and many others are going to be coming on with a little bit of delay because I was sick once again, the same way I was in the beginning of this year. And it kind of interfered also with some of my schoolwork, so I had to postpone basically 3 weeks of content due to that. You probably don't care. I do mostly because this is the one thing I try to do uh, constantly and in a very frequent way and in the same schedule. And not being able to do it for 3 weeks was a little bit hellish for me. Um, so a few videos are going to be a little bit delayed. At this time of the month I would probably be posting a monthly vlog, and I'm basically posting the beginning of the videos of the month, which is normally monthly favorites. So you'll have to deal with that for the next month and a half or so. In January probably everything will be going according to plan. The next vlog is going to be very poor. I have to say I don't have a lot of clips for that vlog because, as I said, I was sick. I was studying at home. I could have compiled a few of my studying sessions. I just don't think anyone would really enjoy looking at me suffering, so I didn't do it. But let's get into these October favorites. We're in November, so yeah, almost December. So we gotta cook. I thought about joining the 2 months together because I don't really have a lot of favorites for this month of November since I was studying for my finals. I still have a few other upcoming evaluations to do. Sorry for my throat in case it sounds kind of scratchy or groggy or something. I don't know. I'm not sick. It just sounds really weird lately. But yeah, let's get into this month's favorite because November is another month. So we're going to be starting with shows. I only have one show, and it's the one show I always watch in October, and it is Over the Garden Wall. If you haven't seen it, I only saw it 2 years ago, but this show has been out for more than 8 years, I think. It's been out for quite a long time, but I had never seen it because I didn't really watch a lot of TV when I was younger. And most of these types of shows that were on TV didn't really play in my country, so I didn't see it. I found out about it because a lot of the designs and the characters were appearing online for me, and I saw and I was like, okay, I need to find out what this is. I watched the show and I absolutely loved it. The episodes are 10 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. They're 10 or 12 episodes. There's a lot of little theories about the events of this show. It's basically two brothers. They go into, you see them in a forest and they're doing their travelings to get back into their world because this is not our house. Where's our house? Where this is the forest. We're supposed to be in the city. That type of thing. This is animated, and a lot of peculiar things happen, like talking birds, witches, a monster in the woods. It's really nice, and if you were looking forward to something really cozy, a little bit dark to watch during this October month, Over the Garden Wall was definitely it. I don't know why it didn't sound out clearly, but yeah. Um, Next, we have movies, and I'm very glad and very happy to tell you that I finally watched Dead Poets Society. I didn't watch it when I was younger or in the last few years because I knew it was a sad story. I just didn't know what type of sad story it was. I know it's also a type of elite movie people that are into films that watch, and I didn't want to be like categorized as a snob for watching the movie and enjoying it and getting the gist of it. You know the drill of how online people can be. Overall, it was 4 stars. I enjoyed it very much. Almost shed a little tear at the end. It's not one of my favorites. If I had to compare it to a movie that came out later on, it was Mona Lisa's Smile. It's basically the same concept, but with women. I preferred that one to this one, but this is definitely a classic, and the whole story is just depressing. It, you can feel the all all that was happening in the characters' minds, um, and that ending. To me, it was predictable what was going to happen, but to still see it on screen was just unbelievable. So yeah, that's my evaluation, not evaluation. That's my score for the movie. The next two, I'm really happy. I had mentioned it in my last video, which was my cozy guide for autumn or something in the midst of it, which was the movies to watch during this month. And some of them were the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so, like I had mentioned in that video, I started watching the movies with my boyfriend. And thankfully, we actually are watching the extended versions, like the 3.5 and 4.5 hour long adaptation, not adaptations, versions of the films, and they're so nice. I'm so happy to be watching it with him because they're one of my like all-time favorite movies. So we watched The Fellowship of the Ring. It's 4 stars to me. I, I would say I'm very picky with how I score movies. Even if like it's my all-time favorite movie, it's probably never going to be a 5. There's very few movies I've given them a 5 because all the categories were amazing and excellent. For example, The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden to me is like a 4.5, 5 movie. It's perfect. It's in the right places. So yeah, Fellowship of the Ring was definitely a 4. My boyfriend didn't really enjoy it that much, which was fine by me. I was just glad that he was finally watching a movie that I personally loved a lot, and he took the time and care to watch it with me, so he could understand my feeling. Um, but he's no quitter. He didn't enjoy the first one, but he actually enjoyed the second one. We're watching all the extended versions, so he really enjoyed the Two Towers. To me, the Two Towers is my least favorite. To me, it's like a 3.5, 3 stars. I know, blasphemy, but it is. But he actually really enjoyed it when there was a lot of fighting scenes. I really like the walking simulator with the trees. There's really nice, and the ending, it's perfect. We haven't gotten around to the Return of the King. That one makes me bawl my eyes out, and I can't. We were supposed to watch it this weekend actually, but I was the one who said it. No, I don't have the time to be watching the movie this weekend because I have exams. Uh, so we didn't. But definitely in my November um, favorites, there's going to be that one there, and I will tell you about his reaction because I know that one is going to be the one that makes him go like, okay, maybe the Lord of the Rings franchise is not as bad as I thought. Um, so yeah, there's that. And the last movie we watched, because I normally watch movies with my partner. I don't normally watch movies by myself. I find them better to be watched with other people. Um, we actually watched it on Halloween. We didn't really have much to do. We weren't going out, so he proposed because he doesn't like horror movies. He proposed we watched a horror movie because I like horror movies. Horror movies are like one of my favorite categories after fantasy. So we decided on a horror movie. I actually told him, okay, so if you're going to watch something you don't enjoy, I'd rather you pick a horror movie. So he picked a psychological horror, The Substance, that had basically came out on that day, like online on streaming services. So we watched it. I had heard about it. It was on my list to watch. I had seen the trailer a few weeks before, and that whole movie is wild from start to finish. The concept, it's something I had never seen in another movie. Probably there's like a few that try to emulate the same thing, but I had never seen it in a movie done before. Um, and basically, while watching the movie, I was disturbed, I was disgusted, I was annoyed, and then I came to a conclusion that this is basically, I wouldn't say satire, I'm not sure if that's the right word for it, uh, or an allegory. I don't know what the word is, but when they're trying to depict the reality in a fantasy way, not really fantasy, but unrealistic way. So this movie is trying to depict the realities women go through, like beauty standards and things in between. That's never perfect. You're never perfect, um, even when you try your hardest. Uh, and the way they made this movie was so strange because it wasn't. My boyfriend wasn't horrified in any way. It's a psychological horror. It's supposed to be scary in certain ways, but it was a type of scary that wasn't scary. I wouldn't categorize it as a horror movie. Probably like, I, unless you count like the gory parts, I would categorize it as a gory movie, not a horror one. Um, but overall, it was 3 stars for me. It was kind of goofy. There, I get what they were trying to show through the screen and the topic, like mixed in between there for the audiences to try to understand, like the Barbie movie did, but better. Uh, the Barbie movie did it better. That's what I meant. Um, Unfortunately, it to me and to my boyfriend it came out a bit too goofy, and I wasn't at some points of the movie I wasn't even taking it seriously. So that's why the score is so low. I think if the movie was changed in a few things, it could actually be amazing. So that's the movies that we watched. The next category I have is anime. I tend to watch certain animes that are coming out in certain seasons. So for, is it fall season? I think they started this fall season. So I started watching Dan Dan Dan. It's really nice. The manga was written by like a sub manga artist that was helping the mangaka of Chainsaw Man. So the artwork is very, I wouldn't say very similar, but you can see the parts that are very much inspired by Chainsaw Man, because obviously he worked with him for years. So he wrote his own story, and now it's being adapted into anime, and it's crazy. It's amazing. We follow basically a guy who's very obsessed with aliens and a girl who's very much obsessed with like spiritual beings. I wouldn't say she's obsessed, but her grandma is like a shrine priestess. I think you can say it in that term. So ever since she was little, she grew up knowing what spirits were. And this anime is basically them working together against both evils in a certain way, and it's so funny. The first episode was nothing of what I was expecting at all. I was overwhelmed, I would say, but in a good way. It's really nice. You should totally start watching it. It's just crazy. And I will probably read the manga because I'm not sure if I can wait after the anime is ended for a second season. I'll just have to start reading it. The other one, I was really happy. This is an adaptation, not adaptation. What's the name? Readaptation, not readaptation. A remake. Is it a remake? I'm not sure if it's a remake. I don't know words today. Today words are not processing. But if you've watched the 80s, is it 80s? Yeah, if you watch the 80s anime Ranma 1.5, I think that's the name in English. Ranma 1.5. You probably know that it's a big ass anime. It's like almost 200 episodes, and at the time when I was starting watching anime online on YouTube in like a million different parts per episode with subs in Italian and Spanish and every other language other than English and Portuguese, which are my languages. uh I was watching that shit every single day on YouTube to no ends, and it was either last year or this year it was announced that they were making, like I said, I don't remember the word, a remake, a readaptation of the original work. So I was like, how are they going to adapt, adaptate, adaptate a 180 episode show into like 24 episodes max? So I don't know, Netflix. I'm not sure if Netflix is going to do parts. I'm not sure if they're going to like do 50 episodes max, because I have noticed that the episodes are being a lot more productive. So something that would happen in 5 episodes is happening in two, or something that was in 2 episodes is happening only in one. So they are trying to slim down a lot of the episodes. There, most of them were filler. I remember at the time watching them, a lot of the episodes didn't do anything. So maybe they can adapt everything into 50 episodes. Maybe I'm unsure, but I'm really happy with the adaptation because it's being like frame by frame almost, other than like them trying to accelerate things. Um, but it's looking great. I'm watching it with my boyfriend, and because he had never seen any of these like authors' work, and he's also enjoying it. So everything's great. And my last anime. So I, again, when I was started watching anime, I watched Full Metal Alchemist until the end, and then when Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood came out, I didn't watch it. Or did I? I think I watched it. Yeah, I think I watched it, but I don't really recall the differences from one to the other. I know there are huge differences and quite better adapted, but I don't recall because I was really young. So right now, I'm, I guess, rewatching the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood anime. I'll I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm really sad because I didn't know that the Nina event happened so early on the show. I did not recall it, and when it happened, I was just eating dinner and I had a pizza in my mouth and tears on my eyes. So I was really depressed eating my pizza. So there's that. And for this month game category, we have Cult of the Lamb. I have been wanting to play this game for quite a long time, never found the time, never found the motivation to do so. Now I did. I played. I, I can't say I finished the game because I didn't, but I would say I would have finished the game in 3 days if I hadn't had schoolwork to do, because I did 20 hours in 2 days. I know that's not a lot. I know it's not a lot for you all gamers. But to me, it's a lot because I had a lot of schoolwork to do. And I just was like, nah, I'm gonna play. I deserve to play my ship game. And so I did. And it's so fun. If I had to compare it to other games, I know that's shitty to do. But if I had to compare it to other games, I would say It's like Don't Starve with um, Hades. Yeah, it's like playing Don't Starve with Hades and maybe a little bit of Animal Crossing. I wouldn't add that last one, but a lot of people have mentioned it to me, so I'm adding it. But it's not my opinion. My opinion is it's a lot similar to Don't Starve and Hades together. So it's really cute. It's a little bit spooky, not really that much, but a little bit spooky. Um, and it's so fun. I'm actually I don't like platform games. Uh, the first one I played was Hades. I think it's a platform. And now Don't Starve, and it's so nice. You're playing as a sheep with a cult, and you're building your cult. Who doesn't like that? And you can kill people. I think I haven't tried it, but I think you can kill your cultists. I'll update you on that because I don't know, but you can do that, and you can marry, and you can sacrifice, and you can cook, and you can do a lot of things and kill monsters and achieve like cultist maximus and stuff like that. So it's a nice game. It's cute. It's poopy. It was perfect for October, and I just enjoyed it very much. And now for like the last category, it's only books. The last category is books because I bought books, and guys, there's tea. There's so much tea. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm not sure if you can see it. You probably can. I'm going to bring it over here. And let's start with the less shitty situation. So we have Emily Wilde's map of the Otherlands. Yeah, this shit. My paper fell. But yeah, I have this one. I'm not sure. I always try to make you guys being able to see it, and I am always awful at showing it. So, book, it's a book. Yeah, I have this one. I had been searching online for the US version because the me bought the US version of the first one. So obviously I need to buy the US version of the second one and the third one that's coming out next year. So there's that. I'm not mad. The US version is way more dark and pretty in my opinion. So it's not all the flowers and shit like the UK one. The Lombard, is it Lombard in English? Maybe it's the Lombard. I don't know. I don't care. You learn my language. Um, it's a little bit different than the other one. The other one has a lot more details, so I was a little bummed when I put them together. But overall, I started reading the first chapter. The first chapter, and they were back in London. And it's really nice, and I'm waiting for a wedding. That's all I'm saying. And if a wedding doesn't happen, I'm also happy with it because their characters are just so nice, and she's a little bit of autistic in my opinion. So it's a nice, okay. It's a nice book to read. It's cozy. It's written in a way that I really enjoy reading, which is like diary style. So it feels more personal. So there's that. Next one, I'm not sure if this is common in your country. It probably is. I think, yeah. Unless you're American. But either way, there's this app called Vinted. And on Vinted, you sell things secondhand for other people to buy. And then you have to pay for shipping, like normally. And one thing I enjoy doing there is looking for really nice book deals. And a book deal I saw was this one, Eragon. So I never read the books. When I was younger, I watched the movie with my mom, but I really wanted more fantasy in my, I would say like high fantasy in my bookshelf. And so I saw these 3 babies. Ooh, shit. I saw these 3 ones being sold on Vinted for 15 euros. And in case you are American or are from other parts of Europe where books are cheap, in Portugal they're not. A single book can range from 10 to 17 euros depending on the language, and depending on the size, and depending on if it's hardcover or not. Normally, if it's hardcover, it's definitely more than 20 euros. But you get the gist. So I got 3 for the price of 1. And I was so happy about it. And then I just had to buy the one that was missing, which was Brisinger, which is the third, I think. So we have book 1, book 2, book 4. This is book 4. This is book 1 and book 2. And I needed book 3. And I thought, okay, I'll just go on Amazon or some other website and try to find the third book. This is like a standard book size, right? Like the US ones are normally longer. Yeah, we all know that. But I didn't think how small these ones were. Especially because I didn't read like the size description. So I really thought this was like a normal UK sized book, because to me they all look the same. In fact, they're not. This is the pocket version. So when I was looking for the pocket version of the corgi ones, and if you don't know, the corgi ones belong to Penguin. They're like a subcategory of Penguin books. They're corgi. So online I was looking for them, and I found on Amazon the same ESPN, is that? Yeah, the same ESPN as the Brisinger I was looking for. In the description it was stated the size, the measurements of these ones. Everything was the same, even the cover had, it was like this. It was like this. I went to Reddit yapping about this because I was so fucking mad. And so, when my book arrives, I get this one. And you're looking at me and you're like, I don't see any problem. Well, this is the standard UK version, not the small pocket version, like it was said in the description. And I was like, okay, no worries. I'm a bit mad because I spent money on this, and the description said clearly the size and it doesn't match the size. So I went on Amazon and I said, hey guys, so the description said something else. So what are we going to do? And they were like, oh, that's fine. We'll give you the money and you can keep the book. And I was like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And now I have this book. Carrying on to 2 days later, I was like, I ain't keeping this. What the fuck am I going to do with this huge ass one? Because I have 3. I had 3 and I had this huge one. How does this even work? How you see? How does this work? It didn't work in my mind. It still doesn't work. So what I did was I went into the interwebs. I went into the fucking interwebs looking for the one. I searched for the ESPN code, the correct one. There wasn't much difference, but I searched for it. I put all the little notes. I searched on the UK. Okay, I searched on UK websites, and I was like this close to paying for UK shipment, which is expensive as fuck because of Brexit. But I was going to pay for it. And so I was searching, and not a single website had the pocket version of Brisinger, which is the third book. How do you have the first, the second, and the fourth, but not the third? And so I was very mad. And then one day, on a website called Fnac, which we have in Portugal and probably in other countries in Europe, there was a match. It said corgi and penguin in the front. It had the image, it had the sizes, and it was basically the same one as this one, but with the new cover. So I returned it, and now we're like this. So if anyone lasted this long until the end of the video and my book Rent, if you perhaps have the pocket version of Brisinger, the Corgi edition, and are willing to have me pay for it, please tell me, because I can't find a fucking single version of it online, and I'm tweaking. But that's fine, it's just sizes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I was tweaking a little bit by the end. I am very sorry. Sometimes I get triggered by book sizes and how they don't match. I thought about burning a book for the first time in my life, but I didn't. So props to me. But that's the end of the video. I talked, I yapped, I told you all of the pent-up feelings I had. Yeah, if anyone wants... No, actually no. Until I was like, if anyone wants this one, just tell me, I'll give it to you. But until I find the third version of the pocket version, I'll have to keep this one because I need a third book either way to read. So there's that. But yeah, thank you for sticking along. I'm just going to cry in a corner about this little mess. But I'll see you next week with another either vlog or yapping session or whatever I feel like in that week. And I hope you keep enjoying my videos. So yeah, bye bye.